Egg. I'm as valid as they fucking come, mate. I can spin dash into a cloud.
Of a 44-pound fish.
If I'm a mod, then I can. Oh, okay.
I think they're gonna die. I need to go to the least gendered place there is. The toilet. You can be on a date, and it doesn't matter at all if they invented rum.
Happy National Meetings Week.
Hello. Welcome to my afternoon. How are you doing? I'm doing very well, thank you for asking. I hope that you're all doing okay. Thank you for helping me test that. I think what's happening, right, is that you're voting and your username's going in, but there's a lot of things that's done with your username. And I think before it's done it, if anyone else has voted, it will change the value of the username. And so it might overwrite that. So when I looked in while people were voting, I expanded the text box called Definitely Rickard, and in there it said neck nil. And so I'm like, oh, okay, everything's all gobbledygook. What needs to happen is when you vote, all your names go on a list, and then it will be emptying that list in a different function. And I think that will sort it. Exactly. I need to set the button to create a queue. One in, one out. Still getting slapped by the console. Gone no further than 75%. What, 75% down? What's your build, mate? Mate, what's your build? I went blood. I went blood build and heavy frost pots. And then just a lot of rote learning. A lot of rote learning. Alright, let's hop in. Tick Q button in the button settings. Oh no, I'm on Unity now. I've had such a strop with Sammy because Sammy just flops over and dies if a single character's in the wrong place. And I just got so frustrated, I'm just going to build it in Unity, which can at least compile its own code and tell me when there's an error. There'll be other errors the compiler's not going to get, but I think I can make something more stable with Unity. Just Dex and a great katana? Buddy, I think this is the time, and I know it feels very late in the game to do so. And it's the thing I had to go through of like, it's time to start exploring options. I think having one preferred build and slicing through the game gets you exactly as far as you've gotten. Yeah, I got annoyed at the fact that Sammy can't tell you what's wrong very well. And I knew that I wanted to make loads of different rounds for Morgov. And you know what is really good about Unity? And I know maybe you use the buttons more like buttons, but I can put buttons into the game space so I can see the results and the information and buttons, and then chat. The viewers can also see the buttons, and there's a big transparency about what's going on. Yeah, it's rough, Brad, but the tough thing about bleed, I don't know if the Great Katana does bleed, is that every time you proc it, the enemy builds more resistance to it, so you get like massively diminishing returns, or rather, you stop getting returns after a while. All right, what are we doing? I'm going to make Morgov, and then I want to return to getting this ink thing in a usable state that other people can follow. Honestly, it's mostly there. I just need to work out how to create it in such a place that it knows where to find your files once it's compiled. I need to understand a way it can find the files you want to put into it once the code is compiled into an executable. That's the last great mystery. And then I might be asking someone such as King of Time if they'd be willing to guinea pig it and see if it works and if it's like understandable. I'm going to write a little readme if you would be interested in doing that. Like, I'm going to be looking for a little beta tester. See, like, is this comprehensible? Does this function on someone else's machine the way it should? And then set up an ink jam that will coincide with the time that I'm just going to not be around anymore because I'll be doing the move. I'll be doing the move in about 3 weeks. So that's my time limit. Who's a beta cook taster? Did I say cook in the middle of saying beta tester? Did I accidentally say cook? I want to apologize. I don't know why I'm saying cuck these days. But it got me thinking. It got me thinking about ways in which to approach writing an interactive ink story. And I want to try a relatively non-intuitive approach to see if it's interesting. A Freudian slip from me or from you? Now, the way you might normally approach a story like this, or any writing actually, or even any kind of game dev, is that you would outline the scope of what you are writing. Do you have anything in OBS that lets you simulate chat messages from any username you're choosing? I don't know. I have one dummy account I made for the express purposes of debugging stuff, but it doesn't have a capital letter. Well, actually, no, we've realized capital letters don't matter. What I tend to do is I use that account, and I also just turn off the bit in my scripts that check if someone's voted before, so I can add loads of votes between me and my dummy account. Now, the way in which you would normally write a story or make a piece of interactive fiction is you would completely and absolutely define your scope in advance. You will know everything you're doing, and then you just take the chunks that are required to make your vision and you build them individually. But what if you could make a story that was in some way inflatable? Like The story is already there in its absolutely most minutest form. And then you keep rebuilding it bigger and bigger from there until it gets game sized, until it becomes story sized. Does that make sense? Do I explain that again in like clearer English? I will, I'll try. It will be good for all of our understandings. So I think your average time when you're making a story is you make your storyboard. Right, and you'd be saying like, well, in chapter 1, how do you write with a mouse? In chapter 1 we want these things, and then this character called Timp, you know, they have these attributes and they'd go here, and then maybe if you're doing interactive fiction you could go, well, branch here, and you'd know all of these things directly in advance. You'd have this complete map going on. Right, this would be like a storyboarding, or even you could call it like a fixed scope method, because you sort of know the scope and the expanse of what you're working on from the beginning. But here is how Sean Morley's inflatable story would work. So let's say you're taking a story like inflatable story, example 1. Hansel and Gretel. We know Hansel and Gretel. And it would start like this. You outline your story. 2 kids. You go like Act 1. 2 kids are abandoned by parents in woods. Act 2. The kids are kidnapped by a witch in an edible house. And then your Act 3. The kids burn the witch and go home, where presumably everything that led to them being abandoned has been resolved away from the main plot. Right, we say that's a fair enough like breakdown of Hansel and Gretel. Does that sound like Hansel and Gretel to you? Am I missing out? Like if we absolutely distill Hansel and Gretel down to its barest bones. Hello, Immoral. And so, rather than completely work out the story we want to tell, we would just go over Hansel and Gretel again, but in more detail. So we might want to be like, Act 1.1, we see some idyllic playing around from the kids, showing a state of innocence. But then in Act 1.2, we see signs of looming poverty and or famine in their small agricultural homestead. And then Act 1.3 would be the kids are taken and then left in the woods. And the way you would inflate the story is that you've already got your full story. You're just taking the individual bits and you're just making them bigger and bigger. And so you never have to define your scope, right? You never have to be like, this is exactly the size the story wants to be, because this story is still complete. This story is already done. Is that a complete story? Yes. Beginning, middle, and end. Bada bing, bada boom. You never need to define your scope. You never need to storyboard anything. You just inflate it. It's an inflatable story. Is this anything? I was thinking about this. Could you write a story like this, or would it turn to a mess? To me, I think this, with the complexity of like planning everything out and then dealing with all the logic of having it being like an interactive piece of fiction, this is where you'd get lost. This is where you'd get absolute confusion. This is the way that chaos lies, right? This is a perfectly atomistic, perfect story. And then you just take the bits where you're like, this could use a little more. This needs a little more juice. This could be a choice. And then you juice that up. Wouldn't the scope increase a bit? Yeah, it would. This has Arne Thompson Uther Folklore Index vibes. I don't know what that is, Stacey. Are you willing to tell me more about this, Vic? Have I copied the idea of someone who's got a proper job in a university or a proper writer? Have I stolen something from the world? I think the benefits are no pre-planning, and that you only deal with one bit at a time, and you just make it bigger. You just keep zooming in and making it bigger. You inflate the story with air, but the story starts complete. It's a kind of list of basic story types. Oh, sure. I guess that's not where I'm coming from. This is like an experiment in like how to approach a complicated narrative. But yeah, I get it. Monomyth kind of stuff. In what way do all the classic tales break down into a single atomistic tale that lives in the middle of them all, like a little story homunculus? I'm aware of that kind of idea, although I don't know this person with that incredible triple-barreled name. Oh, no, that won't be a triple-barreled name. That will be three people who worked together and collaborated on an idea, right? That's not one person's first name. I've been using Miro now, so that's the best story. Miro rules. This Miro is just stuff I use to explain anything to chat. So you've got chat designs a stream over here. This is stream stuff that I did in February. This is when I was trying to make some promo for the Glang show. This is this is the thing that I'm going to show to explain Morgov. Yeah, you would add a branch and then you'd close the branch. Now, here's what I want to do. You may maybe you've 80% glimpsed what it is I'm trying to get at, but we'll only together, I've not 100% glimpsed what I'm trying to get at. We'll do that in the process of iterating upon this idea. And in the spirit of the kind of folklore index, monomyth, hero with 1,000 faces, the king in yellow. Hello, Oracle of Truth. What I would like to pick is a public domain story. Could be folklore, or it could be a piece of just literature that everyone is familiar with, and then we will inflate that story into one we want to tell. And we will add branching and connections. We'll make it interactive. We'll look at a story that we're all familiar with and we'll say, what if this other thing happened? But the question is, what tale is most suitable? Sliding Doors? I don't believe that's public domain. I believe that was a film that was released. Sliding Doors, but for Humpty Dumpty. No, now you're getting it. If you had presented that in one, sentence rather than a question and then a bit of contextualizing other information, I would have said absolutely yes. Sexy Dracula. Dracula's a good one. I was thinking Frankenstein's a pretty good one. Although I don't think I know anyone who's read the book, I think we all sort of know the very, very, very gist. I don't love a lack of context. It's you guys who thrive on it. You've read the book. Well, Oracle, tell me if this is roughly it. Okay, brilliant. This is good. This is good. I think I've started it several times, but I've probably never got more than a quarter in. I know it's told via like people looking back on the past. It's always framed. There's always these framing things of like sailors and stuff like that, or maybe letters, and then you're finding out what happened in the past. But if you were just to tell it straightforwardly, linearly, Frankenstein creates a cadaver guy and then goes, that was a massive mistake, sort of disavows him. And then he wants company, and Frankenstein says, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it again. Is it Dracula's told through? Like, what's Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3? Okay, so Frankenstein is just telling everyone the whole deal. Okay, so Inflatable story number 2, Frankenstein. Let's get the skinny on what actually happens in Frankenstein. Act 1. Is it really short? Could we Gutenberg it? Hang on, do you know what? I hate to do it. But an AI would summarize Frankenstein for me. An AI would be able to just get it. Well, we'll Gutenberg it as well, actually. Project Gutenberg Frankenstein. Whenever we have specific questions. 24. You know what? It's not that long. You know what? It's not that long, is it? I know it's well out of copyright. That's why I think it's so good. And I think the idea of making a Frankenstein resonates. Looking for stories? Are you going to say A Christmas Carol? Are you going to say Alien in brackets 1979? Yeah, sure. I'll leave that for your Ink Jam contribution. I don't have any of the fondness you have for A Christmas Carol. Not that I have anything against it, I think I associate it with the sentimentalism of Christmas. And therefore, I'm thoroughly done with it. Christmas is shy. I think Christmas has the potential to be good. I just don't think that potential will be realised in our lifetimes. No, I can see how something can get under your skin, and then you've got two options. It becomes part of your identity, or you learn to hate it. When I was in year 3, I had spaghetti hoops every day, and now the sight of it turns my stomach. But I can understand that a different child with a different constitution could have come out of this gauntlet of spaghetti hoops and be like, I like spaghetti hoops. That's one of the top 3 things to know about me. Christmas Carol rejects a lot of the capitalism that makes up modern Christmas. Sure. I had that with Rice Krispie buns. Yeah, we've all been there. Which way did you go on it, Oracle? Did you learn to love it, or did you learn to despise it? Could you please break down the story of Mary Shelley's, I'll put Shelley, Frankenstein, into 3 simple and easy to understand acts? Okay, there's the creation, the experiment, the awakening, guilt and isolation. Then there's the creature's story. Then there's the creature's demands. Victor destroys the second creature before completing it. And then the creature kills Henry Clerval and Elizabeth. Then Victor chases it across Europe. So, okay, so we just got revenge upon revenge. And then Frankenstein dies in the Arctic, where he's recounting his tale to a sea captain. Is that the framing device? The recounting the tale to a sea captain? Is that how we hear the story? Then the resolution, the creature appears expressing remorse for its actions and blaming Victor for its miserable existence. It declares its intention to end its own life by burning itself alive so that no one else will suffer as it has. The novel concludes with the creature disappearing into the Arctic darkness, leaving its fate uncertain. That's the frame. I can get my head around this. This is quite good. Should we do Frankenstein? We could hop right into ink right now. Here. I'll copy these. into an ink document right now. Bam. Here we are. And then we'll work on this. Now, firstly, I think this needs to be big so that you can just see everything clearly. I don't think I can convince you otherwise. You're welcome to try Pepsi Scrolls. Hello, Artafki. We're rewriting Frankenstein as a piece of interactive fiction.
Thank you so much for triggering the welcome bear. We love seeing new faces in the chat, and we love seeing this community grow from strength to strength.
Yeah, I think it will be fun. I think Frankie's a laugh. And the thing is, Pepsi Scrolls, here's the genius of it, right? Right, number one, we have the whole story already here. Obviously, it needs a bit of tweaking, as it's written out as an act breakdown. But we have the story already here. So if there's anything you don't like about Frankenstein, we'll put in some player choices that can change it. And then we're absolutely golden. Okay, so what do we need? So firstly... Oh, hello.
It's some of that lovely Dr. Plem, and I'm just so glad to be drinking it.
Alright, so firstly, I think the thing to do is to rewrite this act breakdown into actual story. But we'll write it down in ludicrous, reductive simplicity. Oracle, we're not at that point yet. We just need to get this down. So firstly, we'll send a route to just Act 1. Act 1, we'll call that. And then we'll make a scene called Act 1. And then we'll call, like, Part 1. Oh, hang on, this is... we have to do... No. Act 1 is this. And then... we'll see. ACP1. That's Act 1, Part 1. We'll make our own little ACP1. And then we're there already. So, you are... we're going to play as Frankenstein, right? You are... we can call him Vic Frank. Do you think that's more approachable? It just sounded a bit East London. You're right. Vic Frank. I don't like that he creates life. That's fine. So maybe there can be a choice, don't create life. You're getting ahead of yourself. Think of all the ways you want Frankenstein to be different, and then express them to me once this bit is done. You are Vic Frank. You are a young scientist fascinated with the secrets of life and death. There are going to be no choices in this breakdown because we're going to start off choiceless, and then we'll fill it with choices. So we'll do Act 1, Part 1, and then we'll do Act 1, Part 2, Act 1, Part 2. You have successfully created a humanoid creature using your scientific knowledge. However, you are horrified by its grotesque appearance and abandon it. Okay, that's Act 2. And then we'll do a little reroute to Act 1, Part 3, and then create that as a... hello, Spiffing. Act 1, Part 3. Actually, I don't know if we're Frankenstein. We don't experience this, right? This is actually unbeknownst to you. The creature is wandering the countryside. What is it doing? I got rid of all the text that explained this. Copy that, and then revert so I could see what that text said. It experiences. Okay. It observes humans and learns about the world. It experiences rejection and fear from humans due to its appearance, which makes sense, right? It's rotting or something. It's horrid looking. Okay, and then we go to Act 2, Part 1. Act 2, Part 1. You have become consumed by guilt for creating the creature. There's lots of bits where I don't know if we have space for that. Maybe we'll have to reframe it so a character tells us these things. You are living life, although you are perhaps worried about recent events. And then just put that in brackets. You have isolated yourself from your family and friends. Specifically your wife Elizabeth and your friend, what's his name? Henry something. Henry Clerval. I guess her name's Elizabeth Frankenstein, which instantly feels funny to me. And your friend Henry Clerval. It comes to your attention that the creature has killed your younger brother, William Frankenstein. Hey, that's that one. Are you keeping the framing device where it's all on a boat? No. I think you should live... Well, what do you think, actually? What do you think? Do you think we should have it all as a framing device, or do you think we should live it bit by bit? I think you can't make choices, you know? I like the boat bit. I mean, you could recount the story differently. It feels less we can do a flashback. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Oracle. The whole thing is a flashback of a sort, in that the framing device is it's Frankenstein talking about his entire life. No, you still can. I wonder if it lessens the impact of an interactive fiction if you're just changing someone's recounting of their life. Maybe not, actually. Maybe not. Do we want to? Should we do a poll? Shall we keep the framing device of Vic F explaining this all from a boat? 1 yes, 2 no.
Poll open.
Lizzo Frank. That could be good. Keep that for when we're making some alterations. Looks like yes is going to win, right? No one's voting 1. No one's voting 2, sorry. Can the boat sink? Again, just let me complete the act. I only need to write about 9 paragraphs of text, and then we'll have done the act summary. And then we can deviate from the original. But I'll just need to rewrite this summary to just account for the fact we're on a boat. You are Vic Frank. You are dying on a boat and recounting your life story to some sailors. You were, and I suppose still are, a scientist fascinated with the secrets of life and death. You successfully created a humanoid creature. You explain that you successfully created a humanoid creature using your scientific knowledge. However, you were horrified by its grotesque appearance and abandoned it. After your abandonment, it later came to your attention that the creature wandered the countryside, observed humans, and experienced rejection due to its appearance.
The winner is this.
I wrote scientisit, and you think that's a problem? You think I can't write that? That's fine. We could all pitch in. Okay, no one voted no. We all want the framing device. That's fine. You became consumed by the guilt for creating creature. You isolated yourself from your family and friends, specifically your wife Elizabeth Frankenstein, your friend Harry Clerval. Shortly after, it came to your attention that the creature killed your younger brother William Frankenstein, and then we'll get on to Act 2, Part 2. Create a little knot for that. Act 2, Part 2. You explain to the sailors that the creature found you again. It had learned to speak and read. It longed for companionship. And it was all messed up from humans being horrible to it. Did William deserve it? I don't know. And then we've got Act 2, Part 3. Act 2, Part 3. You explain that. I'm just keep putting you explain that just so we know he's telling a story here. Companionship. You explain that the creature demanded a female companion, promising to leave humanity alone if he does. Victor reluctantly agrees. Oh, sorry. You reluctantly agreed. But as the second creature creation process progressed, changed your mind in a fit of fear and wrath. Oh no, as a second creature progress, you are shaken by fears about making another monstrosity. Where are we at now? Act 2. Okay, no. Act 3, Part 1. Act 3, Part 1. You explain that you destroyed the creature before completing it. The original creature vowed revenge on you and killed your wife, Elizabeth Frankenstein, and your friend, Henry Clerval, who at this point we've already mentioned to the sailors so they know who that is. I think William is a child. A child brother. Oracle, I think you have skipped ahead. Act 3, Part 2. We're almost there with the act summary. You explained that the creature crossed all of Europe seeking revenge on you, ultimately. And that's what led you here to this weird little fishing boat on the North Sea, in the Arctic Circle. You thank the captain and all the men for listening to your tale. And then finally, Act 3, Part 3. Act 3, Part 3. Suddenly, the creature lurches over the side of the boat and clambers onto the deck. It's gibbering. No, it's not. It's very clear. It eloquently expresses remorse for killing Elizabeth Frankenstein, Henry Clerval, and the child brother William Frankenstein. It declares its intention to burn itself alive then wordlessly it frog dives. Is that what it's called when you just sit on the back of a boat and you just go back like that? Is that a frog dive? I see an issue here. Okay. It frog dives back into the Arctic seas. No one knows what happens next. And then we say, end. End. We've done. We've written a story. So that's a story. Done. Okay, so that story is complete. What happened here? Please don't take this away. Ink, are you okay? Error. Please don't go away. Please, if I click OK, are you going to still be here? Please. I've just written this whole thing out and I was just about to save. Okay, we're good. We're still here. Ooh, save. Save project. Frank Vic. Okay, good. We're good. Why Slug here? Slug? Slug, you don't. Slug, you shouldn't be here. I've saved it in Slug, haven't I? Oh, life. Okay. Copy. New project. There's no save as. It's a weird thing that they left out of this application. There's no save as. Just make big. We're sort of back where we were. I just want to save it in its own folder so it's not getting confused with Slug. Frank Vic, you don't belong here. So let's go into Inky Games. Frank Vic. And I'll just call this main. Hello, Albert. How are you doing? We're just rewriting Frankenstein. I've got this idea of an inflatable story system whereby we have a complete story and we just grow it. We just make it bigger over time. Let's make it use up as much space as possible without obscuring the chat or being obscured by chat. So here we go. We've got a perfect story. What do we want to change about it? What bits feel a little bit underdeveloped? What bits feel like they could use a little bit of work? Hello, Bird. Just to let you know, we're rewriting Frankenstein as a piece of interactive fiction. We have the bare bones here. The thing that I'm coining as Sean Morley's inflatable storytelling method is when you have the story complete in the most reductive form, and then you just zoom and expand on things. We just go in on bits, and we can also ask, yeah, okay, so we do what on Act 0? Hey, you are Frank Vic. You are dying on a boat and recounting your life story to some sailors. You were, and I suppose still are, a scientist fascinated with secrets of life and death. You explain that you successfully created a humanoid creature using your scientific knowledge. one of the sailors, through gums filled with chewing tobacco, asks, how did you make a humanoid? How did you make a creature like you or I? From what parts did you construct its body? And then here we can add some choices in, right? We can go lie, tell the truth. Because I think it won't look favourably upon us. So if we lie, well, the thing is, I made the body using, and then we give some more lie choices, just bracken, or cut timber, or algae, something like that. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. We should be able to say we found it. Lie, and we could say, I found it like that. Or we could say, I used a normal material. And to the second thing, the sailor asks, like what? And then that's when we include all of these potentials. And for all of those, we could just say the sailor responds, well, I'll be danged, and begins stuffing more snuff into his snout. Okay, that's good. That works, I think. I found it like that. The sailor responds, I thought you said you made it, not found it. He squints his brow with something that could easily ferment into outright suspicion. Frank Vic would end interaction with gotta get back to stitching ass crack. Where are you getting this from? And then our choices to that could be like plow on with the story. Anyway. And I'll just call this cont. I'll just say like this is A1P2 cont. A1P2 cont. And so that would lead you straight into just A1P2 cont. Meat. You say human meat bits. The sailors look aghast. Some look down at the brine-soaked planks upon which you tell your tale, but none dare to speak up. And then we just move on to A1P2 cont. And then this also leads to A1P2 cont. So we always move on. I'm happy to credit you. Would everyone here like to be credited, or just Bird? Plot twist is making a second creature on the boat. Sure. When should we reveal that in the story? Suddenly, the creature lurches over the side of the boat and clambers onto the deck, so we could be like, unleash creature 2 to fight it, or 2, hear it out. Creature number 2 explodes out of your luggage and kills the original with a rising uppercut. Congratulations. You have undone your crimes against nature. And then you could say thank you, and then it'll say thank you back, and then the game's over. Or you could say, what about creature 2? How do I get rid of that? And then it will say hurt, and then the game's over anyway. And then hear it out just leads just straightforwardly to where you were before. Hear it out just progresses the story with the original thing. Unleash creature 2 to seduce it? Yeah, sure. Unleash creature 2 to seduce creature 1. Seduce it. A sexy meat zombie rides enticingly from the folds and compartments of your ornate Victorian luggage. The first creature breaks, loses track of what it was going to say, starts to sweat, fidgets with its ocean-soaked necktie, bangs on a table with its fist, says hubba hubba, and its eyes fall out of their sockets. Not like in a cartoon, like a corpse whose optic nerves have rotted while swimming endlessly through the upper Arctic Sea. They touch lips, embrace fully, and sink together like two coiled slugs into the freezing Arctic dip. And then end. That also ends the story. I've never said neck bolts. What is this indomitable spirit stuff? Is there some indomitable spirit of human nature discourse going on? I've only seen echoes and whispers. You should have neck bolts. We can choose that early on. One of the sailors who is gutting a fish with a letter opener asks politely, did you give the creature neck bolts? And then we could say yes, or we could say yes, or we could say no. And if we say yes, let's just keep our variables tracked up here. Variable neck bolts equals false. Neck bolts equals true. But if we say this, neck bolts equals false, and then we simply move on. The sailor raises his eyebrows briefly with interest and makes another incision into the flapping creature trapped between his forefinger and thumb. I think it was doing well. Should it should this have an effect on the story? Yes, it should have an effect right here. Right here, if you have neck bolts, right? If neck bolts equals true, then his neck bolts spin around wildly while making a slide whistle sound. But obviously that can't happen if he doesn't have neck bolts. But while it's constructing that sentence, if neck bolts equals true, it'll add that in. So neck bolts adds one extra line of dialogue into the end of the story. You know, I'm thinking the inflatable writing methodology has legs. I think it's pretty good. Anything else missing from this story? Anything else that needs to go in there? Should we play it? Shall we play it through and see how it feels? Should we do a playtest? Okay. You are Vic Frank. You are dying on a boat and recounting your life story to some sailors. You were, and I suppose you still are, a scientist fascinated with the secrets of life and death. You explain that you successfully created a humanoid creature using your scientific knowledge. One of the sailors threw gums filled with chewing tobacco. God, that's spelled tobacco, isn't it? And I've put tobacco. But it is tobacco, isn't it? Tobacco. Asks, how did you make a creature like you or I? From what parts did you construct its body? Do you think we should lie, or do you think we should tell the truth? I could even run this through the Unity thing, and we could just play it like that. We should lie. Yeah, we could say I found it like that, or we could just say I used a normal material. Just a normal material. Hello, Pete. Thank you for 47 months. I suppose thank you also for just saying the word fuck. Use normal material. Yeah, like what? And our options are bracken, cut timber, or algae. Oh, it was a fuck of surprise. Sorry, I thought it was a fucker's hello. Bracken sounds coolest. What is bracken? What is bracken? Is it just bits of sticks and twigs and bramble and junk on the floor of the forest, or is it like woody bushes? The sailor responds, well, I'll be danged, and begins stuffing more snuff into his snout. However, you were horrified by its grotesque appearance and abandoned it. One of the sailors, who was gutting a fish with a letter opener, asked politely, did you give the creature neck bolts? Well, I thought you might have been starting that trend, Pete, and I was just observing it with wonderment. Brackens are a kind of fern. Can one of the sailors ask, what is bracken? Yeah, sure. I guess that should only come up if you select bracken. One of the sailors asks, what is bracken? Do you know what bracken is? I, the player, knows what bracken is, but the character of Vic Frank does not. Neither I nor the player knows what bracken is. Wait, no, I am the player. Neither I nor Vic Frank knows what bracken is. Both me and Vic Frank know what bracken is. The fourth option. Shouldn't be full stops and choices. Is he stopping it into his nose? Are we talking about the snuff? You're talking about the snuff? Bracken isn't real? Yeah. Bracken is a myth? The sailor looks quizzically at you and asks, well, if you don't mind my asking, sir, how did you construct a being from a myth, from a mythological material? Right, that's what we'd be confronted with, really. Yeah, okay. I'll change that to, wait, can I pick something else? And then what should follow on from that? Sure. Caught in a lie, you murder the sailor. Backtrack completely. Let's go through them one by one. Vic Frank stares at the floor with uneven eyeballs. He's trapped. Trapped in a lie. And then that could lead to... here's what we'll do. We'll make a little thread here called Trapped in a Lie. Trapped in a lie, because there's two ways to get trapped in a lie. So that will send us to Trapped in a Lie. This also sends us really to Trapped in a Lie. I know Vic Frank knows what Bracken is. Oh, that should lead us to the same place, really. Trapped in a Lie. That could be our flavor text to open. Trapped in a Lie. You don't know what it is here either, so I guess this can send it to Trapped in a Lie. Trapped in a Lie. You explain simply and patiently the nature of Bracken, remarking that perhaps this biological, that perhaps there's not a lot of Bracken to see around these parts. This elicits a mild grin from the sailors, who up until this part regarded you as a bore. Okay, that's good. That's helpful. Yeah, if you murder him with Bracken, you could eat the murder weapon. I think we could just say sure, and then just send them back. Just send them back up to the top. What act are we in? We're on A1P2. Just send them to the top of A1P2. A1P2. Just send them back. And then we just need to deal with Trapped in a Lie. So we could attack the sailor, hide, jump off the ship, unleash creature 2. We've got lots of options here. Hello, Learning Laser. We're just rewriting Frankenstein at the moment. And then we'll just periodically playtest it to make sure that it flows well, the logic's working well, the choices are engaging. But you know what we could do? If I open up Unity, we can when we playtest it, we can playtest it with the actual interactive thing. But I need to make sure that see how this is yellow? It's because the story kind of gets stuck here because there aren't options here. You kill the sailor ably and continue with your tale. By the creatures I shouldn't use pronouns on this bit because it would feel weird if we've had such a diversion. So here we just continue on. A1P2 continued. I guess Unleashed Creature 2 does a similar thing. A second monster emerges. Let's just say, we'll say, give a sign to Creature 2. A long decaying arm emerges from your ornate Victorian luggage and pulls the curious sailor inside the what's the other word for luggage now? I've said luggage, I need a synonym. Add sailor to Creature 2. Trunk, yes, good. The trunk shakes and vibrates, but after a short spell comes to a complete stop, and you continue your tale. I could also make a variant for like sailor mood. Mood of sailors. This could even be a list, actually. Mood of sailors. This is a good time for a list. So list, mood of sailors, and their moods could be like sailors. How do I do this? Happy. Entertained on one end. No, we'll start on the bad end. Hang on. Happy, sad. Have I defined this in the right way? Yeah, cool. Mood of sailors. So on one end they could be like terrified, scared, worried, neutral, calm, happy, delighted. That's the overall mood of the sailors. I'm not sure what's happening there. And so this may be seeing a couple of the sailors be the arm, but they say nothing. And at the very beginning of Act 1, we'll just say that they're neutral. So we'll say mood of sailors plus equals neutral. They're not really much of anything. They're neutral. Is this seasick a mood? I think it can put you in a mood. And so what did I have before scared? Worried. Yeah, so we'll move them on to worried. Or, I can't quite remember how this works. If I do minus to this list, does that mean they move down one to worried? So we'll say like, mood of sailors minus equals 1. Can you do that? It looks like you can. And then we just do A1, P2, continued. Yeah, you can. I wouldn't mind just saying like, for reference, the mood of... Oh, I could just say, the sailors are now... Hello, Darlie Sam. Are now mood of sailors. Sailors are now... And then it'll tell you what mood they're in. Hide, jump off the ship. Yeah, you scramble to your feet and jump head first into the brine, you immediately go into shock and start to pass out. However, you are plucked from the ocean by a grotesque humanoid form that flops you back onto the deck, and then will fast forwards when the creature boards the ship, which is A3P3. Where was I? Flop. There you go. A3P3. So that will just take us to the end of the game. Hide. You go into your luggage. Everyone gets on with their life. Good night. There we go. We've resolved that. Everything's good.
The winner is this.
Okay, should we check this works? Shall we check this works? So, Ink, I will put the story in here, and then we should be able to play it. If I understand anything, and I don't promise that I do. Swear down, that might not be true. In controller, then we'll go to the thing that actually tells you what we're going to read, and I called it main because I was not thinking ahead. Oh, a ship or a boat? I don't know if I'm smart enough to answer that question. That's something for King of Time. You are Vic Frank. You are dying on a boat and recounting your life story to some sailors. You were, and I suppose still are, a scientist fascinated with the secrets of life and death. You explain that you successfully created a humanoid creature using your scientific knowledge. One of the sailors, who gums filled with chewing tobacco, asks, "How did you make a creature like you or I? From what parts did you construct its body?" And you have a choice of one lie or two tell the truth. Yeah, it'll be a boat. What actually is the difference? We can get some good William Hope Hodgson reference into the story. Oh, that didn't work. What? Why is that not doing it? Oh, you have to do exclamation mark. Exclamation mark first. Sorry. That wasn't clear. So unclear that I got confused. Exclamation mark and then you're the number. There you go. A ship has boats? Boats don't have ships? What? What is this? Because it was a tie break, voting has reopened. This is probably a very slow way to playtest. But at the same time, we're here now. Exclamation mark first. Exclamation mark and then your number. I actually can't fix Twitch's inbuilt thing, but votes take 60 seconds to go around, so you won't never need to make. Or does it take 30? Either way, you've got a 30-second gap between one vote and another. Tell the truth. Meat, you say. Human meat bits. The sailors look aghast. Some look down at the brine-soaked planks upon which you tell your tale. This should make them worried as well, shouldn't it? But none dare to speak up. However, you were horrified by the creature's grotesque appearance and abandoned it. One of the sailors, who is gutting a fish with a letter opener, asks politely, "Did you give the creature neck bolts?" And that you can answer that. I think this should also make the sailors worried, if you tell the truth. Sailor mood. Mood of. I think I'll look up the word bits. That's good. Oh, I see. I thought you were telling me to fix it by saying just fix an exclamation mark. That's a bit rude, but you know, I should respond politely. The sailor raises his eyebrows briefly with interest and makes another incision into the flapping creature trapped between his forefinger and thumb. After your abandonment, it later came to your attention that the creature wandered the countryside, observed humans, and experiences rejection. That's garbled grammar. You became consumed by guilt for creating the creature. You isolated yourself from your family and friends, specifically your wife Elizabeth Frankenstein and your friend Henry Clerval. Shortly after, it came to your attention that the creature killed your younger brother William Frankenstein. You explained to the sailors that the creature found you again. It had learned to speak and read. It longed for companionship. This bit needs punching up. This is very boring. And it was messed up from humans being horrible to it. You explained that the creature demanded a female companion, promising to leave humanity alone if he does. You reluctantly agreed, but as the second creature creation process progressed, you are shaken by fears. You are shaken. Change that to were. You explained that you destroyed the creature before completing it. The original creature vowed revenge on you and killed your wife, Elizabeth Frankenstein, and your friend Henry Clerval. You explained that the creature crossed all of Europe seeking revenge on you, and that's what led you here, to this weird little fishing boat in the Arctic Circle. You thank the captain and all the men for listening to your tale. Suddenly, the creature lurches over the side of the boat and clambers onto the deck. Yeah, what do people think about the creature? Do you think it's alright, or do you think it's just a bit of a sea lion, if nothing else? Okay, at the moment, Hear It Out is clearly in the lead. Oh, you attempted to vote twice. It eloquently expresses remorse for killing Elizabeth Frankenstein, Henry Clerval, and the child brother William Frankenstein. It declares its intention to burn itself alive. Then, wordlessly, it frog dives back into the Arctic seas. No one knows what happened next. Thank you for playing. That's what we got so far. I think there's a lot to be desired. I think there's some large portions where not a lot of choices. I think we can punch this up to the heavens. I think we can punch this all the way up to the top. So, we're seeking feedback. During your playthrough, what was lacking? What did you like? What do you want more of? And then we'll add it all. That's the whole spirit of Sean Morley's inflatable stories. Because you have the whole story there, and then you just add more. You just put more in. Put more air in the balloon.
Hey, now here's a guy with no worries.
I got loads of worries, Oracle. Unless you're talking about either the creature or Vic Frank, in which case, also wrong. These guys are shaken with troubles. Okay. Should we be able to change what the creature's made of? Like, we say lie, but what if you say bracken, it really is made of bracken? So we could make a variable called, like, variable creature made from... it starts off empty. But once you declare it's made from, like, bracken or something... Like if you say bracken, we'll say creature made from equals bracken. And then down here, we'll same thing. Creature made from equals cut timber. Creature made from equals algae. And then when it reveals itself, we can add a line in. Oh, sorry, as standard, it should be made from rotting flesh, shouldn't it? So it starts off declaring that. Thumbs over the deck. The sailors are terrified by its appearance. Are terrified by its hulking. Is it hulking? That's why it's particularly big. Are terrified by its preternatural creature made from face. It could say it's preternatural cut timber face. I'd like to see it made of fungus. Yeah, we can do that. Let me go back up to where it says cut timber. We'll just make another one here that says fungi. And then we just creature made from fungi. Oh, thanks, Pepsi Scrolls. I'll do my best. Do you think you've been saying my accent's coming back? I mean, I don't hear it, but I'm in me, so I don't notice any small changes. I just think I just wake up every day and think I'm me, but obviously, over time that changes. Oracle fix us are the same, so we can't know. Does Victor Frankenstein have a gun? Would this be better if he had a gun? Let's look at the bits that are kind of boring. You know, let's look at the bits where we can't make choices. Like Act 2, Part 1. I never know what you're saying. Honestly, that's for the best. You wouldn't like it. You would not enjoy. Anyway, we've got the subtitles for that. That's why we got subtitles. Alright, Act 2, Part 1. You became consumed by guilt for creating the creature. That's why we have subtitles, Albert. Can the sailor ask if William deserved it? Yeah. One of the smaller sailors, who is perhaps just a boy, squeaks up. Why did he kill William, sir? What did William do? What did William do? William was a foul boy, but he did not deserve death. William was a wonderful boy, but he did deserve death. What did he do, though? It's not about whether he deserved it. What did he do? To deserve death. You knocked over your beakers. William created a worse creature from creature made from. But sir, squeaks the lad, why would a wonderful boy deserve to be killed? Vic can tell that this concern strikes very close to home for the boy, who is indeed wonderful. And clearly clings to life like a babe clings to milk. Sometimes wonderful boys have to die. I don't know. A flesh monster did it, so it's not clear. Eels? Have I written the word eels by mistake, or are people suggesting eels? Eels. Eels doesn't feature. Eels. Are we saying eels? Do you want me to write eels in here? The sailors nod solemnly. Many of them were foul boys once, but they loved living, and they love living their lives. We're saying eels? I can say eels. Eels. Begging your pardon, sir. Squeaks the sailor boy. But perhaps on account of his foulness, the creature did the world a favour. You could say it's not for us to dispense death. I hate the creature, I hate William, and I hate this whole situation. That's outside the scope of my interests. I'm just a scientist. Londoners love eels? LLE? Like this? Is that what you're trying to tell me? I don't know if I've ever had an eel. I don't know if I've ever eaten an eel in my life. Have we all had an eel? You never had eel sushi? I may have done. Unagi? Maybe. Maybe. I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure I have had unagi. But if I have, I clearly can't remember. I've never had a jelly deal. It's nice. Okay. What kind of eel do you recommend? Where should I get an eel from? I'm going to go to a fishmonger's within the next fortnight, actually, so I could get an eel. The sailors all stare into the middle distance. The boy whose question hasn't really been answered decides to drop the issue altogether. This should probably go to A2P2. A2P2. And put that there. Sometimes wonderful boys have to die. But why? Why? One of the older Sailor picks up the wonderful boy and throws him overboard. Everyone murmurs in agreement. A couple of sailors take issue with it because the boy was so wonderful. But they're eventually spoken over and smothered by their general sense of not caring. This song is not from Part-Time UFO. I hope that helps you. Well, I was going to get some more herring, yeah, but I could get an eel as well. What do I do with an eel? Like, let's say I buy an eel and I have an eel, right? Look at my hands. Imagine there's an eel in them. What then? And picture me, rather than it being here, I'm in my kitchen and I have the eel and I look at you and I go, what happens now? A2P2. The sailors nod. Hello, Fluff Weasel. It's intuitive to them that the creature made from would be hard to figure out. A2P2. Great, that works. Shall we add in a little eel decision? An elderly sailor opens up a knapsack and offers you some sliced up bits of eel on a I don't know, piece of metal. Accept eel. Begin eel quest. Deny eel. Reject eel quest. You've got to go. You've only just said hello. Also, that's fine. Thank you for saying hello. I'll say we have to prep eel, so IDK. Don't get a whole eel. Okay. Grill it. Got to go. BEQ, REQ. If you deny the eel quest, I think you just move on. But if you I think we could move on to eel quest. Okay, eel quest. Welcome to eel quest. Your job is to catch an eel before the story ends. If you do, you'll get the bonus ending. Enjoy your playthrough of Vic Frank's vicious creature. And then we also just move on to A2P3. Now, we have to ensure that the player can catch an eel. You're right. So we need to give them a opportunity to get an eel. Look for an eel? No, it should be later, shouldn't it? It should be later on, near the end. Look for an eel. And then there should be something like down here, like eel, fish for eel. You peer around looking for an eel. Where would an eel be? Examine. Look in the sailors' bags. Look off the side of the ship. That's your other option. I wrote bangs. Could be their bangs. It could be yeah, it could be that what should the odds be? If it's RNG, what are the odds as a percentage that you find an eel when you look for an eel? I could call this look for eel. And we could say variable RNG. This could be a function actually. Look for real. God, how do you do functions again? True, Boolean, bool, fish result. Does it work like that? Oh, it does. It does. It can return a bool called fish result. Okay, great, cracking. 5%, 20%. 35% is more generous. 1 in 10. 5%, 20%. 38%. It's too easy to find that. It can't be over 50%. 5%. I don't want 5%. That's too low. So I know I've already got in my head the parameters where 5% is too low, but 68.5% is too high. 7%. I think 10%. Should we just do 1 in 10? That's already pretty tricky. I don't believe we're going to give 10 opportunities. Okay, so we're going to say variable RNG. What is it, like random range? So we'll say RNG equals random range 110. Is that right? Is that wrong? Random range. How do you do random? Random range. That's what I did before, isn't it? Is it the commas wrong? Nope. Could it be range? It could just be random, maybe. List random. How do you do it? Help. Tell me. Documentation. Random. Random? There's something. There's a way just to get a random number. List, that's lists. Functions. Temporary variables. Random, min max. Is it just random? Oh, equals random. You just write random. Oh, and then I have to write temp. There we go. That was the problem. Hello, made in a sweatshop. So we'll roll a random number between 1 and 10. And we'll say if RNG equals 10, then fish equals false. But if we roll this, then fish equals true.
Fish.
Else oh no, you don't need to do that because otherwise it's false, right? Otherwise it's false. What's wrong here? Expanded? Oh yeah, this has to go on a different line. Make that what? Temp. That needs to be temp. Temp fish equals true. Right, good. Then this is wrong. Oh no, that's fine. And then we return fish. Fish result. Return bool fish.
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 Should be called eel, shouldn't it? Why have I called it fish? Eel. 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 And I want to return that Boolean value. Okay. I think you can define functions, so I'm just going to look how you do it. Functions. Examples. Huh? Functions. Good. And then return. Okay, you just do return. And then I have to return eel. Yeah, that's what I want. Return eel. Function. I had to write function in the top to make it a function. And function. And what are you doing? You're just returning eel? Eel. I'll just write eel here. I don't know if that's correct. Oh, it's not good. Bool. There you go. You got a bool. You're returning a boolean. I've given you a boolean. So let's put a look for eel in really early, and then just test that it works at all. Look for an eel. Else. Hello. Have to exclamation mark like tilde else? No. Jeez. Okay. If then's conditional blocks. Oh, you have to do a dash else. Okay. You find an eel. Otherwise, you find nothing. Okay, that's look for eel. And rather than it be a temp, let's make it a full variable. Or like has eel. Has eel starts off as false. And then we'll do here has eel equals true. And then we'll return the boolean, but we don't really have to. And so, where's look for eel? Okay, so we'll just put in there look for eel. And then we go back to A3, P3. Oh, why can't we do that? Look for eel. Oh, that's when you pass an argument to it. Well, we're not doing that. We ain't doing it. I actually don't think we want it to be a function. I think we just want it to be not returning anything. And we don't need this, and we don't need this. I've simplified it massively. And then we'll just say done. Look for eel, and then I just want to temporarily put one at the very beginning, just so we can check it works. So I'm just going to click look for eel, and it'll tell me if I found an eel or not. You find nothing, and then we just carry on. Okay, great. And so we'll add a few look for eels. So we could just do look for eel here rather than deal with anything else. Look for an eel. A3, P3. Actions. A3, P3, actions. I think I want to split it up. If you look for an eel, you still just end up back at your choices here. I don't think you should be... And then you can still pick another thing, but you had a chance to look for an eel. And then at the very end, we'll say if has eel equals true, congratulations, you got the secret eel ending. Else, well, no, that's it. that's the end. Have I done that wrong? Oh, do you know what? I can do it just like this. As eel. So if you get to the very end and you have an eel, and then we'll add just more opportunities to look for an eel. And we could also say, don't look for an eel. But you might not want to. In which case you just literally move on. And any other sort of, there's nothing going on here, so we could look for an eel. There's nothing going on here, so we could look for an eel. There's nothing going on here, so we could look for an eel. So eel quest is going fine, I think. At all times. Do you think when you look for an eel, it like just stops you from making any more important decisions? How about instead of no one knows what happens next, there is instead an interaction between the creature and the eel? Yeah, you're right. That's really good, Morl. Can I just say that's the best suggestion I've had all afternoon. What happens if you get 2 eels? I hadn't thought about it. I haven't thought about it. You're absolutely right. I could change it from a Boolean to being like, how many eels do you have? People love eel quest, huh? People have really people have really shifted onto eel quest. Okay, so here this will be if it's false, has eel, I think. Right? But no one knows what happens next. Is only said. Suddenly, the eel you've been holding in both of your hands all this time jumps into the sea and catches up with the creature. They form a mutual understanding. They have both been abused by Vic Frank and long for a pure kind of freedom the average person on the streets just don't understand these days. They want to grasp life with both hands and drink deep from the cup of the university of experiences. You've done it without breathing life into a second, third cadaver, into any more cadavers. You have allowed the monstrosity you have wrought to have a laugh and have a mate, which at the end of the day, isn't that what we all want? And isn't that what Frankenstein has always been about? The end. Thanks for playing. Okay, that's the eel. That's the secret eel ending. Eels don't have hands. Can someone ban Oracle? Honestly, can we get this guy out of here? Is there an interaction between the eel and the monster that doesn't have bolts, where the eels can take the place of bolts and be symbiotic? Yes, sure. Has bolts, not has bolts. The eel swims through the 2 symmetrical holes in the creature's neck.
This is not a good time.
And just lives in there. There we go. So if it doesn't have bolts, the eels goes in the hole. Typo on the 12th word in that paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What's wrong with this? Is it in here? Is it somewhere in this word? Where? Is it that the I and the S are the wrong way around? Is that it? Possibly. How does Ink not have a spell check? Because you might be using your own language. No one wants to write a whole thing in a completely new language and it's all red. That's the problem with new languages. All the spell checkers mark them red. Eel Quest is pretty good. I think we all like Eel Quest. At the moment, we are. If we tell the truth, the sailors are now worried. That's good, isn't it? Sailors are now worried. We should make something on that because we're tracking the sailors' mood. Please invent fewer languages. Okay. Like I should invent -1. I should destroy a language. I think we've got a pretty good game here. What do we think? I think this is pretty good. Should we play it? I think we'll play the game, and I think Sean Morley's Inflatable Stories, we've made good on it. And hopefully, hey, hopefully you'll get an eel. So we'll see how it works out. Oh dear. That ain't how I want it to go. What happened to the potted plant? What potted plant? You are Vic Frank. You are dying on a boat and recounting your life story to some sailors. You were, and I suppose still are, a scientist fascinated with the secrets of life and death. You explain that you successfully created a humanoid creature using your scientific knowledge. One of the sailors, through gums filled with chewing tobacco, asks, how did you make a creature like you or I? From what parts did you construct its body? Here is your first choice. !1 or !2. A wannabe D&D game. Potted plant. Nice try, made in a sweatshop. Oh, I don't know if I added eels. Did I add eels? I don't think I did. I'm sorry. There was a world in which we could have made it from eels. You like the noise, huh?
Done.
Which game's Biff? You seem to be more on top of this stuff than I ever am. Dragon Garland, it thought that was an attempt to vote twice. Oh, that one was great. Lord Velamir's castle or something. I found it like that. The sender responds, I thought you said made, not found it. He squints his brow with something that could easily ferment into outright suspicion. It looks like I didn't provide any proper choices here. Did I make a mistake? Plough. Let's look up the word plough. Plough. Yeah, I didn't actually offer a second choice here. You've got one choice and it's this. The laggy horse game. Yeah, that was Lord Velamir's castle. I have it wishlisted, but I don't think we'll see anything from it ever again. The game where we made a D&D character and had to keep refusing the started item to offer the plant and said, I have no memory of this. It was a game Sean made. Why don't I remember this? I made a D&D game. Were you a slug? That's the last thing I remember making. I have to keep refusing the started item to be offered a plant instead. Maybe I'm tripping. However, you were horrified by the creature's grotesque appearance and abandoned it. One of the sailors, who was gutting a fish with a letter opener, asks politely, "Did you give the creature neck bolts? Yes or no?" It was a few weeks ago. I have I've got no recollection of what you're talking about. I'll have to watch the VOD. I'll have to watch every VOD I've made in the last 2 weeks. Car park. I don't know. That probably did happen. I don't think you're mad. But I just don't remember. The sailor raises his eyebrows briefly with interest and makes another incision into the flapping creature trapped between his forefinger and thumb. After your abandonment, it later came to your attention that the creature wandered the countryside, observed humans, and experiences rejection due to its appearance. You became consumed by guilt for creating the creature. You isolated yourself from your family, friends, specifically your wife Elizabeth Frankenstein, your friend Henry Clerval. Shortly after, it came to your attention that the creature killed your young brother William Frankenstein. One of the smaller sailors, who is perhaps just a boy, squeaks up, "Why did he kill William, sir? What did William do to deserve death?" Grisp Clumness. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna make. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I was making a D&D game. I remember now. Car park. Yeah, and we added loads of surnames and forenames. I completely forgot we even started all that. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, something's up. Something's up with it registering the votes. I actually did a debug stream of this and got loads of feedback on little things that need tweaking, and I've not tweaked any of them. But I will. William created a worse creature from rotting flesh. You explained to the sailors that the creature found you again. It had learnt to speak and read. It longed for companionship, and it was all messed up from humans being horrible to it. An elderly sailor opens up a knapsack and offers you some sliced up bits of eel on a piece of metal. Okay, this is big. How many projects you got going to go? What, at any one time? Some projects are knowingly made to be threadbare and abandoned. They're just to tutorialize myself. But how many projects have I meaningfully got on the go at any one time? Too many. Several. Yeah, Morl's found one of the bugs that I haven't actually got round to. That vote 3 still counted, yeah. I don't think it actually went towards anything. It made the ticker, but it didn't affect these numbers here. It probably put you on the voting registers. You couldn't vote again for something real. Welcome to Eel Quest. Your job is to catch an eel before the story ends. If you do, you'll get the bonus ending. Enjoy your playthrough of Vic Frank's Vicious Creature. You got a choice here. You can look for an eel. At the moment, there are no podcast projects in the oven. There are no podcast irons to the fire. Who voted not to look for an eel? Dragon Garland. Some people just want to watch the world burn, don't they? You find nothing. Suddenly, the creature lurches over the side of the boat and clambers onto the deck. The sailors are terrified by its preternatural, rotting flesh face. They're eeling. It's the denouement of the story. Let's eel. The creature's here. Let's look for an eel to satisfy eel quest. Yeah, wait a second. I know you've just arrived, but I'm really hankering for eel. It's only 1 in 10. Yeah, you didn't find an eel. Suddenly, the creature let... Oh, we're back. However, the eel option is gone. You can write options so that they remain. Not this one. This one's gone. Okay, going for the seduction route. Why not? A sexy meat zombie writhes enticingly from the folds and compartments of your ornate Victorian luggage. The first creature loses track of what it was going to say, starts to sweat, fidgets with its ocean-soaked necktie, bangs on a table with its fist, says hubba hubba, and its eyes fall out of their sockets, not like in a cartoon, like a corpse whose optic nerves have rotten while swimming endlessly through the upper Arctic Sea. They touch lips, embrace fully, and sink together like two coiled slugs into the freezing Arctic dip. You have completed Vic Frank's Eel Quest Vicious Creature interactive fiction. And I believe with that, I believe that the signs, the knowledge of Sean Morley's inflatable stories, I think it's been proven to be fantastic. I think this is a great way of writing stories. I wholeheartedly recommend it. And soon, before long, we're going to be doing an ink jam where I will be suggesting people make short, simple ink stories that will be played using this engine here. And that'll give us something to do when I finally have moved countries. And you'll be able to put it through this, and I'll give you the option to like add your own music, add your own sound effects. Join the Discord if you want to find out more about that. But as a little writing exercise, I think that's been fun. It has sort of reminded me that even though you got to like look up a thing how it works, you can just make a little funny little interactive story. Just like I was doing this on stream, so. Normally about like 2 hours of stuff I can do on stream is probably equal to about what I can do in about half an hour, 40 minutes if I'm not looking at chat. We need to send this to professors and get Sean referenced. What, like referencing an academic paper? I don't think I'm of interest to them. I think I'd give them a nosebleed. No, not that you're most helpful.
Thank you so much for triggering the welcome bear. We love seeing new faces in the chat, and we love seeing this community grow from strength to strength.
Well, for the record, I wasn't saying you weren't helpful. I just, in talking to you and chatting, I'm not hammering away. I just will obviously work faster if I'm not also having a chat. But this is the ideal way to work. This is peak performance. This is Sean Morley's inflatable stories. But for now, I have to go. Work on dinner, live a life. Morgov should be returning on Wednesday afternoon. In fact, if you want to see, I am just working on how Morgov will work at the moment. Save. Whatever I did there, I'm sure it was good. It's not ready, but I'm like halfway through making a Unity environment for MorlGov. So if I turn Unity spout back on, this is broken. It hasn't got full functionality, but you can see what I'm getting at. Move this out of the way a little bit. So this is just going to randomize nouns from the noun category. And then you get to vote, do you like it or not? Do you like night? Yes or no? Exclamation mark, yes. Exclamation mark, no. So this, I think, is nice. This is a vote visualizer. Does no one like night? Darley Sam tried to vote twice. Oh no, Dragon Garland did. There's an error on that part. There's an error with that I will fix. But look, they bounce. They come down, they do a little bounce like that. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah, we got some physics now. Visualizers can have things that visualize simple things like votes can have physics. And that alone makes Unity a step above. And there we go. Only 11.1111 people. Yes. If they could have everyone in the country, just their votes bouncing down, or at least the names and addresses of everyone, if not their actual voting intention. What I'm thinking, I don't know if this is a good idea. Maybe drop them with a slight angle. I kind of like the idea that they could. There's like order to begin with, but then they'll knock each other off. Yeah, I guess there could be slightly. I kind of like that it's sort of mostly because I'm going to be using it on Wednesday to like see who's voted and see if that helps me understand like how people would have gone. I also like the idea that there's a big Jenga stack and they might fall over. But maybe I'll look into it. If it's not fun enough and it looks like it could be more chaotic if I spin them, it shouldn't be too difficult to. I don't know if I should do this, but once the actual thing has been revealed, the guess has been made, and we're just revealing the actual information, I could make it so that it goes, these colours conform, like, to how people voted. The weight of the box is determined by the account's more points. That's doable. That's doable. Hello, Harry Hardy. I'm afraid you've just caught me at the tail end. We'll do one more. We'll do one more of these. Yeah, I've had to move the overlay because this outline. Well, I was thinking that. Okay. Do you like the following thing? Motorway service station. This is a good one. Exclamation mark yes, exclamation mark no. Yeah, who doesn't? Come on. Oh, lovely. See, that's physics right there, and they start off flat. Can you make them spin fast if it's a quick response? These could all be stretch goals, I think. Have I built this? Yeah, I'm working on this for MorlGov. Were you there for MorlGov on last Wednesday? I'm just rebuilding it in Unity with more bells and whistles, and hopefully that it won't break. You'd enjoy MorlGov, I think, Harry. And then it'll give us the percentages at the top now. 81.81818% like motorway service stations, with 18.811882 don't like it. Perfect. What a perfect result. Now that's maths That is Demography Manifest. Hopefully, I'll see many of you on Wednesday evening. Until then, stay nice. Goodbye. Still learning the right kind of question? Let's do another round then. Let's just enjoy ourselves. Because I think this could be good. It's coming back next Wednesday. Nothing else you could do about it. It's coming back. Maybe I'm on the better pause. Was helpful. There you go.